Black Box Online Radio, coming to you from West Virginia. And yes, today we have another lighter upload. Going to be talking about something that isn't as heavy as the murders, missing persons cases, and any of the true crime stuff. This is actually something that wanted to talk about for a long time because I think it's an interesting mystery. This is the case of Tara the Android and the famous video I Feel Fantastic, which now has 20 million views on Creepyblog. That's the channel that uploaded it. Now, with this particular one, some people might think 20 million views is a lot. I definitely would if we ever had anything like that on this channel. But we got to also bear in mind that these music video channels now are getting videos in the billions, and a lot of these things, though, we think they're so well known, but they're actually very sort of esoteric and only within certain groups that are familiar with certain sectors of YouTube. Even though something has 20 million views, it might not be super popular, but I think it's an interesting story all the same. Anyway, a video was published on April 15th of 2009. Can we hear what that sounds like one more time, just in case you're not sure what is the name of the song? Yeah, somebody posted that video, and it was of a singing android wearing a blonde wig, and we have since learned that her name is Tara, or pronounced Tara, most likely. Some people pronounce T-A-R-A, Tara, but some sources even reported it as Tina the android. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this one today is I finally watched the I Feel Fantastic full source upload, which actually had 16 minutes of something that was available talking about this viral video that was put up in 2009. And this is something that is connected to a lot of different theories. I mean, to kind of talk about some of the more outlandish ones, like somebody was writing on a forum once saying that they believe that that sound that you hear is actually the screams of somebody being imprisoned underground. The I Feel Fantastic video features, as we mentioned, a blonde wig on a singing android, and you can see the android dressed in a sweater and at one time a black shirt, doing different poses. Then it just cuts to a shot of a backyard, and someone was saying that they believe that that is it. It's the work of a serial killer, and they're trying to show the backyard to kind of highlight where the victim's body was, and someone was actually being imprisoned underground. And the sounds that you hear in that are actually somebody sort of, well, kind of making noises and singing to themselves when they're trapped in this underground coffin, and somebody's recording to this and then putting the voices into this android. And I'm like, holy crap, how do people come up with this stuff? I think that's a much more badass story, even though it's all about abduction. Definitely a much more badass thing than someone made a Taylor Swift look-alike android that wasn't as good as singing as she is. And yeah, okay. I think it's like interesting to also watch the full 16-minute I Feel Fantastic, which is available on the channel Yitz, Y-I-T-Z. Now, this one actually had somebody who was talking about kind of a more detailed version of this. Someone just was kind of leaving a comment about an individual named John Bergeron. And John Bergeron is often like cited on all the internet lore as the creator of Tara the Android, that wonderful singing robot that you just heard. And I guess I should say android. We gotta get our terms right. John Bergeron supposedly created Tara the Android in 2004, and it was actually a much more ambitious project than they thought was going to happen. And after Tara the Android was created, the project went on for about 2 years, but they learned that it was just very, very expensive. It was expensive, and the finished product that you're listening to isn't actually as successful as they wanted. I mean, like, as far as we can deduce, it means that they wanted to try and turn Tara the Android, that lovely singing voice that you heard, into an actual sort of pop star android robot that was going to be singing pop songs and, hits and all sorts of things. But the thing to say about that is just that a lot of people were not very pleased with the results, and then they took that one segment that they just thought was really, really creepy and bizarre, and they put that online, and it got 20 million views. That was the only hit that Tara ever had. Tara, excuse me. I knew somebody named Tara, T-A-R-A, and that's how she pronounced her name. Tara the Android, Terra the Android. It's as you like. It depends on what cup of tea you're drinking from. But the thing though is there was a phone call that was made to John Bergeron, who was the alleged creator of Tara the Android, and it just goes kind of bizarre. It's like I was tempted to say that it was just fake and staged. Some guy just seems very nervous and just hangs up the phone immediately after confirming that he is John Bergeron. But in the full extended version that they posted, once again on the channel Yitz, YITZ, in 2018, it says very clearly that this was copyrighted by John Bergeron. There's like a time signature or a copyright mark, really, which says copyright 2004, John Bergeron, and I guess he's the real creator of Tara the Android. And the other thing to say about this is that, it's like there was another sort of demonstration of Tara, and she was kind of talking, just not in the singing voice, but just kind of relaying comments. And you see this Caucasian male. He doesn't show his face, but he's taking a nail, not like a little tack or anything, but an actual nail, and driving it through her cheek. And she simply says, "I am not in any pain. I am an android." So she probably would have been a much better kind of presenter, like as just a talking android as opposed to a singing android that was actually designed to make any sort of hits or anything like that. But I definitely do have to say that there is a little bit of a creepy thing going on, and it's definitely a very creepy video the first time you hear it, and maybe the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth times you hear it, then you're like, what was ever creepy about this? It's just a singing android robot. I mean, it's the blank expressions definitely are somewhat weird. But we had a very interesting comment come in from Juxtaposed Lime. Yeah, Juxtaposed Lime. And they're sort of saying that, just to read a little bit, and in 2004 this project was started with $2,000 to create the singing android Tara, with the aspirations that she would appear in live performances. John Bergeron programmed Tara to sing the songs that he wrote himself. Well, there you go. I feel fantastic. Hey, 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 run, run, run. Okay. Well, I mean, that's an A plus for the lyrics, my friend. And then Bergeron sold 5 3-minute music videos featuring the android on his website for others to see, and proceeded with development until 2006. At that point, the website became inaccessible. And as we mentioned, though, it just proved that it was very costly, and the finished product was not as kind of pristine and polished and like exactly what people wanted. In 2009, in the month of April specifically, a video titled "I Feel Fantastic" was uploaded on a YouTube channel called Creepy Blog, and it included various clips of Tara inside a house singing the title song, as well as a mysterious shot of a backyard. That's the thing that we mentioned that was tied into the serial killer theory that, or just this abduction theory that this guy is like capturing people and putting them in some underground coffin, and he's taking little sound bites that they have and he's putting them into this android, and the android is wearing their clothes. Highly unlikely. Oh, but there's one thing that I haven't actually mentioned yet that this post here says. The original biography for Tara the android contained a biography of Pygmalion in the video's description. It did not mention John Bergeron at all. And this is, I'd like to cite the source here, nixonsalliance.weebly.com. Nixons is spelled Nixxons. That's with 2 X's. And I think that, I think that that's a very helpful thing, and I don't think that it's an enormous mystery. That's like one of those things where you can see how something on the internet could just explode into wildfire, and people are just kind of talking so much about this stuff when they could, be doing a bit more Googling as opposed to just chatting, and they're like, a lot of this stuff was available very easily on the internet, but people would much rather just get on a forum and be like, no, it must be a serial killer burying the bodies in the ground, and then they're funneling out the screams and the cries of the victims, and they're putting them onto an android. I think it's actually, though, kind of interesting that you do see a lot of wires kind of connected to Tara when she's like singing in certain poses, and they actually have a lot of those that are here in this full 16-minute full source version, and like you can actually see a lot of the wires and all of the things that she has. Yeah, all of this stuff is creepy. Pretty much everything she does is somewhat creepy. But one of the things is sometimes she's just dancing, and you actually don't even have any lyrics. Okay, once again, like I said, A plus lyrics. But I think though that this could be something that, like I said, it's kind of a simple story. But I really would be curious though why someone wouldn't be more public about that. The only kind of explanation would be that they want it to kind of live as a particular legend. But yeah, so as we mentioned though, there was an introduction to the story of Tara the android, that cited Pygmalion, like it's kind of in the description box of the video that was published in April of 2009. And that says that in ancient Greek mythology, Pygmalion was a highly accomplished sculptor. Though skilled at imitating the human form and well acquainted with its subtleties, he became disgusted by it when he witnessed the Propaedites, Propoetides, no habla Greco, sorry, prostituting themselves. These women were punished by Venus for their lack of worship with a coarseness of skin and a crudeness of nature, and were then forced into prostitution. Seeing this, Pygmalion the sculptor was repelled and could no longer appreciate women. Okay, maybe there actually is a certain parallelism there, or there's just some sort of kind of similar thing going on. What you're about to watch is a mysterious video, and its origin, attributed variously and almost certainly spuriously to various abstract artists or surrealists, is the truth. The truth is what we are seeing, and what we perceive to be strange and disturbing is actually beauty to its creator. There's something kind of profound in that, in the sense that this guy probably put in a lot of time and effort and work and money, definitely money into this. If they pulled the funding on the project, if he did, because it was too expensive, he probably thought it was maybe his best accomplishment and probably the biggest thing he ever did. But a lot of people are just like, oh, that's creepy. That would be a good challenge question that we could ask. What is something that you felt that you feel that you've put a lot of work into that you feel maybe was not super appreciated? And furthermore, do you have anything to say about the case of Terra the android? And also, it's like, do you think though, like that we're going to be dealing with more things like this in the future? We could have fully robotic android pop stars, like perhaps what John Bergeron was talking about. If you have anything to say at all, I would love to hear from you, and until next time.